he said, "Oh no," it makes me think the dog just threw up on his shoes.
I think you're right.
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Either that
Hey,
or
everybody, we are now live.
Oh, are you there?
Ed, we're
Are
here.
you there?
Are you? Yes, we
Hello?
are here. Ed, we are hearing
Anybody
you.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Don't talk to anybody else at the
Oh.
moment. Now he's
Come back.
gone.
Now he's gone.
He'll just resume in.
Okay.
Record.
All right, so we're going to call the meeting of March 9th, our village council meeting via Zoom to order. Beth?
Allworder,
Here.
Frankel,
Here.
Reynolds,
Here,
Sog,
Here.
Turner,
here.
Welsh. No.
We know he's coming in, so Tom will let him in as soon as he reappears.
Okay, Whitney,
Yes.
Here he comes.
Okay, Ed, are you here?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes,
I'm sorry, I hit the off button.
that's okay.
we just did roll call. So Welsh,
Here.
Thank you.
I lifted up the computer and hit the power button.
Okay, don't touch anything yet, please.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're streaming live and we are going to go with the minutes from the February 9th, 2021 meeting.
Move to accept.
I'll second.
motion by Ed, seconded by Mary Reynolds. Allworder,
Yes.
Frankel,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Sog,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Welsh,
Yes.
Whitney.
Yes.
Okay, next is pay ordinance 1247 for $388,422.27.
Move to approve.
Second.
Who seconded? I missed that.
Larry.
Jay? Larry. Allworder,
Yes.
Frankel,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Sog,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Welsh,
Yes.
Whitney.
Yeah.
Okay, financial statement, our treasurer, Tim.
Our village revenues are up substantially from 2020. We received the tax payment discussed in previous meetings at the beginning of February. Our reserve position as a result has increased quite substantially. And as previously discussed, a portion of this unusual payment will help finance our COVID-related deferred expenses from 2020 and an accelerated roads and CapEx program. In addition, the extra reserves provide council with the time to make more fully understand our long-term financial structure, take into account the updated long-range financial plan projections, and implement opportunities identified during that effort in 2020. While our reserves are now well above our target level of 1 year's expenses, in the absence of the unusual payment, our current financial structure still produces an average deficit of about $400,000 a year. The long-range financial planning projection shows that reserves will fall to targeted levels in about 2 years and will go below that target thereafter. Our operating expenditures are within budget in all departments year to date. At month end, our investment account has $4,761,000 in it, and our unrestricted cash accounts have $3,820,000. It is our normal practice to maintain about $1 million in operating funds in our cash accounts. As such, we will be moving additional money into the investment account in March. That's my report. I'd be happy to take any questions or conversation.
Anything for Tim? Okay, then I believe our speaker is with us. Mike, are you there?
Yes, I am. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can,
Yes.
Mike. This is
Okay,
our-
great.
Our resident Mike Pinto is joining us to give us a report on our crime situation. Greg, do you want to say something or?
All I'm going to say is, Mike had stopped in today. We talk regularly. Mike's been helping us out. He's been a great resource for us. And it's wonderful to have him down here. And Mike also co-chairs our safety committee with Councilman Frankel. He's been a real pleasure to work with, and we appreciate everything he's done for us.
Here,
No, I
here.
appreciate that, Chief. I appreciate that, Chief. Thank you. So what I want to do is I want to talk about the South American Theft Group that has recently visited Gates Mills as well as Moreland Hills. So as I think everybody is aware, on January 30th, Gates Mills had a burglary, and later that evening, about an hour later, and Chief, I think will talk more about the specifics on them later, but about an hour later, they went down to Moreland Hills, and there were some burglaries as well. On February 1st, in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, they had 3 burglaries. And I spoke yesterday with the Detroit FBI case agent about the investigation, and he can't discuss specifics, obviously, on the case, but I did tell him I'd be speaking tonight, and he did want me to confirm that the burglaries on January 30th in Gates Mills and Moreland Hills and Grosse Pointe are related. He believes they are absolutely that they are the same individuals. Grosse Pointe had 4 suspects that broke into the rear glass door of one of the homes. They went to the bedroom, took cash and jewelry, and the responding officers saw a suspicious van. The van was recovered. Property inside the van was from some of the burglaries, and the items recovered from the van are now being analyzed at a laboratory. But the investigation is showing that the suspects are part of the South American Theft Group, SATG. The Bureau has been looking into the South American Theft Group since 1992. Just to give you 1992, just to give you a little background. They're involved in targeting salespersons, traveling jewelry dealers, targeting retail stores, smash and grab robberies. They get computer software, jewelry, and they're very transient, and they move across the country. They then fence the items where they sell them, and they send the money back to their country through Los Angeles, Houston, Miami, and New York City. Now, the crew that hit here in Grosse Pointe is from Chile. That's what the investigation is showing. And it seems that they're focused on conducting home burglaries. So they're targeting jewelry, cash, and high-end purses. Their MO is to basically Google Maps some high-end neighborhoods in certain cities, and they target homes that are close to getaways, like close to the woods, where they'll have a vehicle pull up, guys will run through the woods into the home, they're in and out in a couple minutes, and then they're gone. So there's a lot of public information on past cases. You can go online and see a lot of this. Just to name a couple, back in November 2019 out in Burbank, California, they were targeting luxury handbags that were being burglarized, numerous small businesses. And what these individuals do is they come in on their 90-day visa waivers, which allows them to come for 90 days into the country without vetting a regular visa. In March of 2000 in Nassau County, New York, there were 5 Chileans arrested for about 15 burglaries. And in November in Nassau County, New York, there was about 25 Chileans arrested. So they're coming from Chile through mostly Los Angeles, and they're moving east throughout the country. Right now, the overall investigation, just to kind of give everybody a summary, Detroit has numerous items that are being analyzed at the lab. They're coordinating with Los Angeles FBI on a national level, and local departments are working with the FBI. Everybody's in constant communication with each other. Our headquarters, FBI headquarters, is aware of this overall issue, and they're actually working with the Chilean government, who sent a police envoy to Los Angeles to work with law enforcement on the cases. My experience, I've been with the FBI now for over 15 years, working entirely violent crime. I have worked similar crews to this, burglary crews. I can tell you it is a very difficult crime to work. And it's, a lot of the time you might be able to, you believe they've committed about, let's say, several burglaries, 10, 15, 20. You might only be able to charge a couple just because of the evidence is lacking. But today we have many more sophisticated techniques that law enforcement is utilizing that allows us to tie the burglars to numerous cases. I can't share many details on that, but I can say the Gates Mills police has done a great job utilizing these tools with these cases, and they've uncovered some very key evidence that's going to come into play later in these cases during prosecution. Recommendations right now to the public. I definitely recommend having an alarm. I'm a resident of Gates Mills as well. I have an alarm. I have surveillance cameras. Keep some outside lights on. Don't leave packages out front of your homes. Pick them up when you can. I have a dog. I don't know if how well she would do if somebody broke into the house, but from what I'm hearing countrywide, there's less of these where there's homes with dogs. And the big thing is let the police know if you're out. Well, if you're out of town, definitely let the police know. But the big thing with this is if you see something suspicious, please say something. And this is actually what led to the vehicle being recovered in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, and which was the big break in these cases. So that's I guess that's the extent of it. Just to let everybody know, they are transient. We believe they've moved past through here. They went up to Michigan. And, it's being actively worked by the FBI, the authorities here, Gates Mills Police, Moreland Hills Police, as well as Grosse Pointe and other police departments throughout the country.
Wow.
Does anybody have any? I know it sounds like a lot, but I can tell you this, from my experience of working these crews over the years, it was a burglary crew that hit, and, they're through here. So, it's being actively worked at numerous levels. It is an issue, countrywide. So that's the chief has my contact info. If anybody has any, I guess any questions or anything, I can stay in the line for a couple minutes here. I apologize. I coach my kids basketball. We're start practicing a little bit here, but I can answer any, a couple questions now, and then I'd be happy to, if you get in contact with Chief, and I could be happy to follow up on anything else.
Mike, I do have one.
I have one question for you. Why do we
Sure.
keep letting them from Chile on a 90-day pass?
Well,
Couldn't we-
It's a great question. It's a great question. And I can tell you, I spoke yesterday with the Detroit agent on this. He's coordinating with the Los Angeles agent because it's coming from Los Angeles. And that is the big thing that they're talking to our headquarters about. And it's way above my level, but it's being brought up to our higher ups and executives at headquarters.
I mean,
It's a
why
great
should we
question.
keep letting them in from this place? If it's all transient, they keep coming on 90-day passes. Make them get a regular kind of pass, whatever that is. Okay, Mary, you have
It's a
a
great
question?
question.
Is there any guesstimate how many there are?
I can tell you that this is believed to be, it was a group of 4 that was through here with Gates Mills, Moreland Hills, and up in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. I do not know how many there are throughout the country. But when you take a look online at some of these past cases for a South American theft group, they're usually small crews that do this.
Sound like gypsies.
I have a question.
Mary?
Mike, I have a question, as it relates to all of the residents in Gates Mills. Now that you've pointed out to us that this is a ring of thieves that have been operating for quite a long time, is it their MO that now that they've swept through Moreland Hills, Hunting Valley, and Gates Mills, they will be moving on to other areas? Or do we look at this as now those 3 communities being vulnerable, for a while? I mean, they're going to come back and they're going to come back and come back. Or is their MO?
No, that's a great question. It's a great question. I can tell you from past history with these type of cases, they move on. They're very transient. And it is one of those things too, where they moved up to Michigan and they were interrupted up there. And there's evidence that's been recovered. So, are they going to come back here? I cannot say for certain that they are or not. But they are transient, and we definitely have information that they moved from here up to Michigan.
Okay.
My question is whether I had heard from one of our constituents that she heard from the Moreland Hills chief that there was an instance where people were home. So that was very disturbing to me. I just wondered if you can speak to that. I don't know whether that was true or she just was.
I'll let the chief answer that. I can tell you this: their MO is they're not looking for homes where people are home. They are pretty. When they approach a home from what I've seen, they'll be knocking on the windows. They'll be flashing a flashlight. They are specifically looking for homes where there's no one home.
But if it's at night, someone could be sleeping.
It is correct. That is definitely correct. I mean, that's why I definitely recommend, if you don't have an alarm, to get an alarm. Something where, when their MO is to get in and out of a house within 2 to 5 minutes, and they literally go in, they go up to a bedroom, and then they grab what they can grab and they get out of there. Their MO, and this is countrywide, has been in and out fast, and they're looking for homes where there's no one home. Now, could it happen where there's someone home? Absolutely. But their MO has been to look for homes. They're looking for homes where there's packages out front. When they approach the house, the investigation so far has shown they'll shine flashlights inside. They'll knock on the windows. I mean, they're looking to see if they get, I believe they're looking to see if they're going to get a reaction. If they get one, they're going to run, and they'll go somewhere else.
Mike, I think the other interesting thing is, and I asked this question last time, was what room seems to be the most, the target room? And I think you've just pointed out that the master bedroom. Maybe that's where the jewelry is.
It's the bedrooms. Yeah.
So to
it's the bedrooms.
So to our residents who are going on vacation, we might say, here's their MO. So maybe you need to change your MO when you go on vacation. And I think that if they're only going to operate for 3 to 5 minutes, I don't make it easy for them.
Yeah. I have a question actually for our police chief. We have probably plenty of residents that do have surveillance cameras on or about their houses. Have we asked our residents to register with you or with the police that we have a camera, that perhaps it also includes a view of the road, and so that when you're trying to pick up evidence where you might get cameras apart from the ones we're looking at as a village installing?
Greg, did you hear?
Yes, I did. Thanks for the question, Tim. So we are establishing a database right now. I highlighted that in my March pink sheet column.
Yeah.
And Officer Newsom is kind of the point officer with this. She's done a great job with it thus far. She showed me what she was working on this last week. And as of last week, we probably had at least a dozen residents who have already reached out to her. So it's strictly voluntary. On a personal level, I don't see any downside to why a resident wouldn't want to do that. But people are different. So April the 12th, which is a Monday night, Jessica is going to be, once again, the point person on a safety presentation, and she's going to be talking exclusively about that. And we're hoping they'll be out there for, all villagers to attend. And then from there, we're going to try doing like some quarterly meetings, and we're going to break it down by neighborhoods. So, we're hoping to really, grow this database where it'll be beneficial, and quite honestly, it'll save us a lot of time when something does happen. Instead of going to every house, seeing what happened, as we're not a supervisor's department. So, when things happen, we want to try to streamline that as much as we can.
Sure.
So, that's in the works.
I wanted to let Jessica know that I've got outside cameras. How would I do that right now?
Well, I will make a note of that to mention it to her. I'll see her tomorrow. She can, certainly be reached at the station, or you can email her, or I can even have her reach out to you, whichever you prefer.
I was asking more broadly for, anybody listening, but I will actually reach out to Jessica and let her know.
You can call the town hall and leave a message for Jessica to call any resident back that has, make contact with Jessica. She could certainly call anybody back.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Is it true they're just picking on ADT alarm systems? I think that was one of the things in the paper.
I
Chief,
can't speak to
Mike?
that. I haven't seen that. It's the first time I've heard of that. To my knowledge, just from what I know about ones that have been around the area, they've been all different alarm companies.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mike, for joining us tonight to give a heads up on all the information.
No problem at all. And the chief has my contact info if you need anything. So thanks so much.
Terrific.
Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, so we will move on to My report, I don't have anything other than it was 1 year ago where we all shut down, almost to the day. It's it is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful we'll be opening up back maybe another month or two. Easter is going to be a drive-through again, the registrations in the pink sheet, along with other date changes and whatnot. And that's really about all I had. Hopefully everybody's gotten the state of the village.
Yes, very
It's
well
good.
done.
Well
Yeah.
done. Good job.
Very well done.
Thank
Peter,
you.
has everyone on council been vaccinated?
Yeah, I was going to ask that too, Nancy.
Not, but you're going to be, Anne, very shortly.
I will be.
So by April, we might be all vaccinated.
Very
I
well.
won't be by April, but I will be in time for May. I mean, given the
Okay,
2-week
well,
windows, my point.
It's something to shoot for.
Right, right.
Yeah, I think by May we should.
Yeah. Let's be hopeful. Clerk's
I mean, I'm
report.
happy to meet in person anyways. I just am telling, I
Mhm.
won't be past the 2-week window for my
Okay.
second dose, so.
I have a question. Has anybody seen these two structures that showed up by the
Oh my gosh.
poll that look like they've probably gone through architectural to get
Yes.
approval?
They should be removed by tomorrow. They were
I
What-
hope so. They added
What was
more.
it?
I talked to Kathy. It's for pictures. She sells the chicken coops. And she's doing a promotion and she called the Hunt Club. Hunt Club's in transition with a step-in manager. He really didn't know exactly, but it's okay. We have gotten questions and calls on it.
I thought they were dog houses. Okay,
No.
Oh,
No.
chicken.
got it. Nothing to report, just curiosity.
Thank you. Any committee reports or anybody wanted on anything?
Anything new on the graveyard?
Nope.
It's all
We're still-
quiet, Ed.
We're still hopeful. Ed. I'm always hopeful.
People are dying to get in there.
Ah!
Anybody else? Okay, so we will move on to police report. Chief? Is Greg gone?
He will be shortly. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
See me?
Yeah.
Okay, we're experimenting with the equipment
Oh, there
over
we
here,
go.
so.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Oh, is that fancy?
Cool.
Getting fancy.
Well, good evening, everybody. Everybody should have received a copy of my monthly report. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. Quite a bit of this past month, obviously, has been what Agent Pinto was just discussing here a few minutes ago. Just a little bit of an update on some of the things without going into the specifics of what we're doing. I can assure you that we have extra measures in place right now. It's not like it's business as usual right now. We're just kind of doing the same thing we've always done. We're adding extra personnel to different timelines that we're looking at, different areas that we're looking at. So along with some other things. And one of the things I'm going to try to let the residents know about, some of you may have noticed it. So on the new police cars, there's kind of a different alley light feature, and it really illuminates areas for us. It makes it more advantageous for us to, kind of get in the nooks and crannies and whatnot. We've actually received some calls from residents, saying, hey, what are these lights? And it's been pretty well received. They're very bright, they're halogen, but, we're really practicing on using these to let the residents know that we're out there. And it does, because as we all know, it's very dark down here. So, we're trying to light up the sky as much as you can, certainly in some of these areas that are very hard to get to and see without using the equipment. So you may have noticed that. And tomorrow, we are going to have our cameras installed that I've been talking about. These are the flat safety cameras. So you maybe see some contractors working in the area tomorrow. They've been strategically deployed. We have a placement plan in place, and they should be up and running probably 24 hours after. So
Wow.
they'll be installed tomorrow morning, and they received permission. They did the call to the 811 dig, and they took care of all that for us. And we, of course, Dave allowed us permission to do that as well. So, but if there's nothing else, that'll conclude my report.
I had one question for you.
Yes, sir.
The 8 fraud reports that were taken, were those related to unemployment insurance or? were
Yes,
they-
all of those were. I think 7 of the 8 were. In fact, since this report, I mean, I can tell you that we're already off to probably at least 4 or 5 this month.
Wow, wow.
It might be good to put something on our website so villagers know what to look out for, because I think some people aren't even aware that this is happening.
What is it
Yeah.
exactly?
You know, so what's going on is, so you or somebody may receive a letter in the mail claiming that, your benefits, were received, or you sent a letter in, for unemployment benefits. And of course, you're still working. And so what's happening is, through identity theft, they're able to, the state's paying out a lot of money with this scam. And Mayfield Heights, as an example, they don't even take these reports anymore. They're just turning them over to Consumer Affairs because the whole area is just getting inundated with these. I think I read just last week that I think the state's paid out like over $3 million in these
Oh
claims.
my gosh.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big thing right now.
Terrible.
We'll see if we can go ahead and add something to the website. They're not going away, that's for sure. And this has been, it's really been picking up steam here just in the past 3 months. So we've seen quite a bit of it. So, what we're telling our residents when they file these reports, you want to, check with your credit card companies, your creditors, all that, see if there's any activity, protect yourself. You should be in pretty good shape. Really, the state's the one who's really at it. But it's very alarming for people to receive a letter and they're like, well, I didn't file for these benefits. And so, after we explain it to them, we have handouts we give them that came right from, the Consumer Affairs Division and how they can protect themselves as much as they can. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that, try to get something up on our webpage.
Thank you.
Chief, I had a question on a different topic, and that's dispatch. I know we were anticipating Mr. DeSico coming today, but will he be coming next month, or what's the status there?
Yes, Sandra, Director DeSico's readily available. And the reason why we kind of pushed him back, I think the plan is for him to possibly be, in April's meeting, is because we're going to have Agent Pino with us here tonight.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
well,
was all. We
we've
just
already-
pushed him out.
Sandra, just to let you know,
Yeah.
we have already had our meeting and he's produced some data that we sent
Good.
out and we're analyzing some of the data. Chip is looking at some things and we're working on it.
Good.
Right.
Good.
Not quite ready to have him
Expect to
come
have a
back.
report in April.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. Hopefully you'll find some things too.
Anything else with that?
We'll see.
Nope.
Greg, do you want to say we had a good meeting with the residents of Daisy Woods?
We did. So that was, let's see, was that last Monday? It was 2 Mondays, almost 2 weeks ago. So the mayor and I, along with Detective Day, he also joined in. So what we did was we met with all of the residents from Daisywood Lane via Zoom. And, it was the right thing to do. They were very curious as to, some of these things that we were talking about, like what's being done. And, I mean, for those of you who don't know, there's only about 7 houses on Daisywood and we had everybody there attend. So they asked questions and, and that's fine. And, we answered those questions, I think, appropriately, gave them some tips. And certainly they're going to be invited back April the 12th, along with the rest of the community. And, so I think it was well received, though. I think they appreciated it. I think it was great that the mayor was on board and, she heard some of their, concerns. Some of them, I mean, listen, they're in shock, right? I mean, you have something like that happen. I totally understand. One of them mentioned they wanted more street lights, things like that. And, I'm not so sure, that may happen, so to speak. They inquired about these cameras, but in that area right there, they would not work because it's just, there's too much foliage and, it just wouldn't work. So, but they're appreciative of what we're doing and they understand it. So, but, we're giving that area certainly high priority along with their, really all of our side streets. That's our focus right now, quite honestly. We've cut back on some things just to really zero in on these side streets as much as we can, let the residents know that we're out there.
It was overall, I think it
The
was a
burglaries?
great meeting for the residents.
Was this?
Yeah, I mean, just
Burglaries?
exactly. I mean, just hitting the side streets more so than now. We're really trying to get out there as much as we can because, it's on everybody's mind. So, we want them to feel like they live in it, and they do live in a safe area. We know that, but, I think that everybody feels better when they see the police driving up and down the street.
Any other questions for Chief? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Service Department.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. You should have received a brief copy of my monthly report. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. If there are none, that concludes my report.
Dave, quick question on your salt report. When
Yes.
you purchased 1,386 tons, and obviously we're awfully close to our minimum. Is the bin full at this point, or if you had to, you could
Yes,
buy the
yeah,
balance?
yeah. Currently, it's pretty full. I'm sure we're going to get a storm or two yet. So
Yeah,
we'll
should be
be
fine.
close, but we'll probably be able to take the delivery, I would think, of the 144 that's remaining to make the minimum. So I would anticipate we'll try and do our best to get that in. So,
And with the nice weather, I've been out walking the streets, and it is nice not to have so many cinders on the streets. So
yeah. And in the effort we're gonna, save and the springtime cleanup that usually takes, 3 to 4 guys and the equipment and trying to clean that up.
yeah,
We're certainly
Yeah.
gonna have quite a bit of savings on that effort for sure.
yeah.
Dave, I had a follow-up question on First Energy. Dean
Yes.
Payne, was with us a couple of months ago and said he would come back and make a report, or we asked him to come back and make a report. Any status update on that?
The mayor can probably help me a little bit with this, because I think he sent a reply to the mayor and copied me. They did notice that they apparently have found a problem on Epping Road. And again, I'll ask maybe the mayor, she may have a little more of the information than I do. So my understanding is they did found an issue, and they're trying to figure out what it is and how to get that fixed. But other than that, I haven't. I certainly can check with him to, see if there's any kind of a further update for us.
I've talked with them and they're looking into it. I gave them addresses after that meeting and they're looking into some of the different things, but he wasn't ready yet, so.
Okay.
Which,
I'll
by the
reach
way,
out and just,
Probably won't be if we do Chagrin Valley Dispatch in April. He probably won't be till May.
Okay.
I hope everybody looked at that little brochure in the State of the Village. It's a good thing with all the different numbers and emails and kind of keeps everything in one place if you have an incident and need to report it.
Is there any news about forming a committee to work with them? Because I just got another beautiful flowery letter saying that for so much money a month, I would be totally protected outside after all my wires came down. And they
Those
told me,
don't really come from the electric company. Those are a company that
but they're
uses
spo-
their mailing list.
but they're sponsored with their envelope and everything. I mean,
I
it's
didn't say
official.
they're sponsoring them. If you deal with that and you want to pay for that, it's totally separate, other than it shows up on your bill. If you want to cancel, I mean, they have nothing to do with it. Anyway.
Anyway,
I had somebody
I'd like to be on
call
that committee to address that. Yeah.
I do have a question. Is there any discussion about trimming trees and creating better paths for electric lines, either with the utility company taking responsibility for that or for us? And I will.
Well, that's part of what they're looking into, Tim, and that's part of what they were using the helicopters to look at the lines and the trees.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting. I recently had to walk Gilmore's whole property line up there. It's amazing to me where the lines run and the trees that are through it on the side of their property.
Yep. All over the village, really.
But the problem is when they put those lines in, nobody had trees there. And now everybody blocked it and put them on their, so they've grown up. And if at the back property, those trees are the property owner's responsibility, really.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, but they are looking at it and,
Most of what I've seen, I'm about to comment on, actually is in Hunting Valley. But if you
Oh.
go down Chagrin River Road and just look to the right, there are trees literally balanced on the power lines.
Yep.
Wow.
Yet,
Yep.
I'm just amazed that those.
Well, they're probably the cable lines because that's even true on Berkshire, but
right,
it's the
those
cable.
lower lines are totally cable or telephone.
Right.
The electric are only at the top of the poles.
Mm.
I noticed when I was driving down River Road in Hunting Valley, there are a lot of trees marked. And I assume they're marking them for a takedown for the River Road expansion.
They are going to do a widening of River Road this year.
Right, so it
Hmm.
looks like they're gonna
That
be
is correct.
a lot of trees.
They have a pink dot on them.
Right,
Interesting.
Okay.
it's gonna
That
look. really
concludes my
different in
report.
Hunting Valley when those trees come.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Well, I'm on my fourth generator down there. I mean, that's a mess.
Okay, next is our fire chief, Tom.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. First off, I'd just like to thank you for putting up with our being a guinea pig as we work through the AV systems here at the community house and over at the council chambers. With us this evening, off camera and off mic, is Chris Burke, who did the installation of these systems, which we're very happy with the way they worked out. For us, it's more a learning curve of how to utilize them. So now that I've said that, you should have received a copy of the February Fire Department report. It was a pretty light month as months go, and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, nobody cooked. Nobody was cooking that month, so.
Well, not
Oh, they were-
admitting to it.
I'd like to know how they had a fire in a washing machine while there was water in there.
Well, what happened was they overloaded the machine, which is typical of dormitory buildings for some reason, trying to put too much stuff in there. And what it does is the belt starts to smoke and to burn. And it set off the alarm system. And it was really, other than the fact that they've got to do some work on the machine, it was not that big a problem, other than it was very cold and those students weren't happy about having to evacuate the structure.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Probably
Yeah.
weren't very happy about their clothing either.
All right, if there are no other questions, that concludes the fire department report.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, next is, we have the police car. Did Janet, do they all have the ordinance or just me?
We got it on email.
Okay. Okay, and this is ordinance number 2021.
Oh, yeah.
An ordinance authorizing the disposal of the sale of a vehicle that is unfit, obsolete, and unneeded for village purposes and declaring an emergency. We need.
Second.
I'll
Are you putting the motion or?
move to approve. and
I
second.
can't move. We have to have a motion to suspend.
I'll make
yeah.
a motion to suspend the rules.
I second.
Beth,
Seconded by Nancy. Okay, Alberter,
You spoke yes.
Frankel,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes,
Sog,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Welsh,
Yes.
Whitney.
Yes.
okay, and now we need a motion to accept. and
So
authorize.
moved.
I'll second that.
Motion by Sanders, seconded by Larry. Alberter,
Yes.
Frankel,
Yes.
Reynolds,
yes.
Sog,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Welsh,
Yes.
Whitney.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so is there any business from the audience, Tom? It's hard to see.
Well, we actually cropped this shot to just show the four of us The original one would include the side tables too. So you are going to see us as much smaller than just the individual images.
You're teeny
We had
tiny.
a total of 7 people watching the live stream on YouTube. We don't have any questions from the audience.
Okay.
So with that, I would make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Allworder,
yes.
Frankel,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Sog,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Welsh,
Yes.
Whitney.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks to everyone. Take care.
Happy Easter.
All right.
Thank you.
Happy Easter.
Stay well.
Thanks.